I'd like to introduce a real treasure, a real Montana treasure. Montana is the treasure state, and this is one of the gems. Amy is one of the truly most talented and gifted singer-songwriters in the West, and we're incredibly blessed and honored that she would come back and play here at SKC for us. Amy Martin.
Well, it's a real honor to get to be here again. I was just so happy that I get asked last year to come and be part of the Martin Luther King celebration, and then this year to be asked again was really exciting, and especially in the company of these two great community leaders. I haven't met Anita yet, but I'm so impressed by what I've heard about her, and I definitely read about her work in the news, and thank goodness somebody stood up and did what she did. And David is someone that I've known for years now, and I'm going to miss him very much. He's a great voice here in the Valley, and I'm sure you all know and probably were part of it, but in case you don't know, that peace billboard that has popped up it's Dave's name at the bottom of it. So. And speaking of peace, I wanted to start out tonight with a song that I learned from Kathy Kelly, who is an amazing activist from the Chicago area who's done a lot of work in Iraq. And this is a song actually that's pretty old and pretty famous. You might know it. But I'm going to sing part of it in English, and then I'm going to sing part of it in Arabic. And Kathy learned it in Arabic from a bunch of school children in Baghdad whose school was destroyed by our bombs. And they taught her the words in Arabic, and she taught them to me. And so if anybody speaks Arabic, this third-hand translation is probably far from the original, but I'll do my best. I've been told I'm supposed to use lots of consonants, so we'll see what happens. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and nigh. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my dreams, my hopes, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as deep and true as mine. Ilahi laka neshidi, neshidu salam بواديه وبلادي. هذا وطني الذي في فؤادي، خذنا عالمي ومقدستي، لكن قلوبنا كرام في بلادي. Tu be alamin, sadikati mifli. Oh, hear my song, oh God of all the nations, a song of peace for their lands and for mine. A song of peace for their lands and for mine. Thank you. Well, since it's Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, I kind of put together a set of music that focuses on different forms of freedom, the kind that we traditionally think of in terms of, external oppression, and also the internal oppression that, I don't know, maybe you guys are all more enlightened than I am, but I kind of face on a daily level. The ways that, we keep ourselves limited and afraid and fighting inside. And it's such an amazing thing sometimes when you think about that, the way that all of these battles that we hold internally and how they hold us back from really being truly free in our spirit and ourselves in the world. And then you can look outside and you can just see this perfect analogy happening between warring countries or warring factions within a country, and the way that that constant need to battle and struggle is the end result, no matter who the supposed winner is that it keeps everyone distracted from doing what they really want to do, which is, live, love, and sing. At least for me. Maybe play pool or whatever your calling might be. So, but this song is kind of one of those that hopefully where those two worlds, internal, external, kind of come together. It's called Rose of Sharon, and it's a portrait of a young woman. She's a fictional woman, but she's drawn quite a bit from my own experience growing up in a tiny Iowa town where I had two friends who had babies by the time I graduated from high school with my class of 32, and just also reading the book The Grapes of Wrath, which is where this character's name comes from, and in a way she's sort of a modern incarnation of that character, a young woman who kind of becomes politicized through the process of becoming a parent. My name is Rose of Sharon. You can call me Rose. I was named after a flower that grows in the Holy Land. But my life's been far from holy. I'm 17 and I got a baby, and a lot of people condemn me for that. But it's made me stronger. I'm no longer a little girl. That's not the worst thing in the world. Gotta grow up someday. It's made me wonder why things are the way they are, why some people starve every day. Why some are so rich they're throwing money away. I look at my own mom, she's worked hard all her life. She's had to fight for every step she made. We used to be on food stamps, and I hated going to the store, cause people either stared at us or had to look away. But it made us stronger. My mom said to hold my head high. She said it wasn't a crime to need a little help sometimes. She said you gotta wonder what this world is coming to when trying to feed your child is a sin. While we spend billions on these wars, nobody wins. And I'm sitting in history class talking about the Dust Bowl while there's a homeless man right outside the window. But I don't have the time to whine about how nothing's gonna change. I've got a child to raise, and I owe it to her to try to make it better. We can do better. I will do better by her, yeah. Well, I don't know nothing about politics and war or governments and presidents and things. It looks a lot like high school, bunch of boys acting tough. They don't know how to listen, they all talk too much. But I'm getting stronger. Yeah, I can feel it in my arms. Comes from carrying something precious and heavy. And I'm starting to wonder why not put us mothers in charge. Yeah, we might run things a little bit differently. Maybe nothing will get done until all the babies have enough to eat. flower grows and grows and grows. Thank you. Got this little goofy idea on my website called Let the Children Sleep Act. And it's my proposal that if everybody could just agree all around the world that every child should be able to sleep through the night. That's something every child deserves. You know, they don't deserve to be terrified by screaming bombs. They don't deserve to lie there starving. They don't deserve to lie there sick and unable to get medical care. And everyone can agree on that, right? I mean, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, me, you. Maybe even George Bush. I mean, and you know, I think we should just make it this act, and you have to sign on, then you have to do what you need to do to make that happen. And if you are unwilling to sign it, you're basically saying that you agree that children should not, you know, be fed, clothed, and have health care. And everybody knows you're a jerk, and then we like send you to Mars or something. But there's the flaw in the plan. The enforceability factor. Anyway, this next song is called Good Girl, and it's also about a young woman who's becoming politicized, but through a very different set of circumstances. I picture this girl sitting in her very nice upper middle class home in some suburb somewhere, and she's been raised a Christian. She is a Christian, and she's getting old enough where she can read the Bible and really absorb it and take it in, and starts to wonder about the Christianity that she's getting from her parents versus the Christianity that she's finding in the revolutionary, hippie, vegetarian Jesus. So. I've always been a good girl. Followed all my daddy's rules. I've always been a good girl. Go to church and Sunday school. I've always been a good girl. I've always been a smart girl. Always gotten straight A's. I've always been a smart girl. I study the Bible almost every day. I've always been a smart girl. Jesus, won't you lead me to the truth? Jesus, won't you make me more like you? Jesus turned the tables when he went to the temple 'cause he wanted to pray. Yeah, he turned the tables. He kicked out the moneylenders and sent them away. Jesus turned the tables. Yeah, he was a rebel. Jesus, won't you lead me to the truth? Jesus, won't you make me more like you? Well, I pray to be born again. I want to be changed into the daughter of my Savior. Yeah, he scorned the corruption of the mighty and the great, and said, give your riches to the poor if you want to go to heaven. Well, I want to go to heaven. the door, I know Jesus waits, and I want to see his face. Jesus, won't you lead me to the truth? Jesus, won't you make me more like you? I've always been a good girl. Jesus was a rebel. I've always been a good girl. Jesus was a rebel. I've always been a smart girl. Times are changing. I'm getting tired of working at the edges of this picture. I've been hedging my bets, slicing off little pieces of this pie in my hand. And the mouth I've been living, wanna take a bigger bite, wanna eat it with my fingers. Yeah, let's do something radical. Yeah, let's do something radical. Let's do something radical. Well, I can feel it in the air, something's there just waiting to come out, to come in. Well, come on over, there's a time for baby steps, a time for long jumping. I don't know what, but I got something new to do. It might be something radical. Yeah, it might be something radical. It might be something radical. Like a howling at the moon, like falling in love, like taking off our clothes and dancing naked on the lawn. I want a new idea and a better plan of action. Wanna take the magic step that starts a chain reaction. Yeah, a chain reaction. Well, Miss Rosa Parks, won't you send me your spirit? Got a message for me, yeah, and I'm ready to hear it. You said move to the back, you said I've been doing that for all these years. I think this time I'll stay right here. Yeah, that was radical. That's my kind of radical. Let's do something radical. Like standing in the sun, feeling like the chosen ones, and using all our power to shower the earth with love, 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 love. Like standing in the rain, saying this ain't a bad thing to get soaked to the skin, to be more free than we've ever been. More free than we've ever been, yeah. More free, more love, more free love, love, free, free love. Yeah, let's do something radical. Let's do something radical. Yeah, let's do something radical. Let's do something radical. You know, Martin Luther King was considered super radical by a lot of people, even though now, you know, you kind of look back on him and he seems so incredibly mainstream. I mean, he actually worked so hard to try and not divide people and to try and find ways for people to engage with the movement without it becoming polarized and us and them, you know, that even some people within the African American community felt like he wasn't going far enough, you know, often. And yet at the time he was such a dangerous radical that the FBI was tracking every move he made and trying to scare his wife and his children. And, you know, so we got to keep that in mind when they talk about this whole wiretapping stuff and invasion of our privacy, that you don't have to be like a crazy bomb thrower for the government to get a little nervous about what you have to say. So I think that we should look up Dave and Anita's files personally. We could probably find out some really interesting stuff like what color lipstick Anita uses. And Wear color Dave uses too. This next song is one that I wrote when I was in Washington, D.C. in 2003. It's called, actually, it was this very weekend, come to think of it. It was Martin Luther King Jr. weekend in 2003, and it was freezing cold, and I was there for a rally to try and stop the Iraq War, which was just about ready to explode into the shock and awe phase. And I had this great time, getting to march and be with 500,000 people on the mall, which was amazing. But what ended up being really amazing was the next day I was in front of the White House when the president happened to come flying in his helicopter. And there were a whole bunch of us ragtag activist types hanging out. But there were also 4 young men in uniform who I got to talk to after the president was whisked away. And they were headed to Iraq the next week, 2 Navy, 2 Marines. Sweet, funny, very open and interested young guys who wanted to know what the fuss was all about. They thought everybody in America was for the war. They were very surprised to see 500,000 people weren't. And they were honestly curious and very open to my answers, and I was trying to talk to them and use them as role models and stay as open to them as they were to me, and it was just a really great moment for democracy there. And I really want to assert something that I've seen at every single peace rally, anti-war rally that I've been to in the last several years, which is that I think we really learned the lesson from Vietnam, and nobody that I've talked to has ever been against the war is against the troops. And I think it's very possible to be supportive of the troops and for the troops, and in fact wanting to very much to take care of them, and that's a big reason why we don't want the war. So it isn't about not supporting the soldiers if you say you're not for the war. So.
One big White House, 4 soldiers standing, staccato rhythm of chopper blades. The president is landing, and everyone's got their cameras out. Some of us are chanting, no war, no war. Ask the boys in uniform what they think they're fighting for. They tell me God and country and the manliness of man, pride and power, and a comfortable way of living. Trying to listen, and in 15 minutes I am in love with all of them. I love all of them. What will they see? What will they do? What will be done to them? What fade awaits these fresh faces? How will they be changed? Politics and policy and postures aside, we drop our defenses and just look each other in the eye. Let me take a picture of your innocence, your beauty. You are fragile, precious. little shone in the rosy glow of the sunset. And Lincoln stared sadly out over the wall, and four boys in uniform walked past the White House and headed off to the Vietnam Memorial.